me.
Right.
Yeah.
And in terms of this learning curve, how have you learned to negotiate the finances? Because in some way this is going to be a living.
That's
so
true.
when you go, did you say, oh, I'm so glad you asked me to be one of 32 musicians to go to the States? Oh, I'm so glad you asked me to come to South Africa. I will play for you for nothing. Is this the way forward?
No, no. People forget that music is also, we're doing it and it's also a living. We're trying to get money off it. So
right.
we enjoy doing what we're doing.
Right.
But we're trying to also get money off it. I'll do it for free, but still the bills need to be paid.
Right.
So things like contracts are still there. So
who negotiates those?
I do.
Yourself?
Yes, yes.
So you've also gone online and done a legal course on,
on
a major contract.
Yeah, yeah.
You can do that as well.
Yeah. Also because I have a company that I set up with a friend based in South Sudan. So
right.
through that company, I kind of learned how to draw up contracts and negotiate such things.
Right.
Yes.
And how do you put your fee? Is this something that you just dream of? Let me add another zero. Or do you look at what other musicians
you look at what other musicians have done.
And it's not a secret. You know what the market price. There is such a thing as a market price?
I think it depends on the musician. It depends on your quality of music. It depends on how you brand yourself. So as you grow as an artist, your fee, of course, can come higher.
Right.
So you need to know where you are at in the hierarchy of
right. And do you think, as a Kenyan,
yes.
within Kenyan society,
yes.
is there a take-up for your kind of music here in Kenya? Or is the dream to catch that flight and find yourself earning a real living elsewhere in the West?
I think the music industry here is growing, and it can become that. It can become, you can live off music properly. It's easier to do it in the West, but I think home is best, because in the West there's so many very brilliant musicians. So I think the best thing is to get good at your craft in your country, in your region, and then from there expand out.
Right, and your region is the whole continent?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Is it all about Kato, Change and him, or is there a social aspect? Is there any sort of public awareness or public quotient in your life, or?
With the music, yeah, it's not just about Kato. I like encouraging the youth to do certain things, and when.
How?
There's so many things. For example, can I go to politics? Just slightly. Quickly, let's go to politics.
Yes. I'd like us to stay for politics for a while. Like.
No. Let's just pass it quickly.
Yes.
For example, there was violence in 2007.
Yes.
So it's encouraging the youth to be peaceful for the next election.
How do you do that specifically?
Through lyrics of songs and,
right.
and through workshops you do in schools,
right.
and
so the songs that you write.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So when the song that we heard, sort of, what were the recurring themes? I
live for freedom.
I live for freedom.
I think it's self-explanatory.
Right.
Yes.
So there you are. Do you belong to any sort of clubs, social? What I'm asking is, I'm no longer 22.
In terms of clubs, no, not yet. And I don't belong to a certain club, but it's just through the music I write and what we put out there with the group that I play with.
Right. Okay. I want to go back to this dread word, politics. Trick question: have you registered to vote?
I have. I was actually one of the Kenyans that registered at the last minute.
At the last minute,
African timing they call it.
Yes.
But I did register.
Right. So you brought up the figure to 14 point something million.
Yes.
Well done.
Thank you.
What? I'm talking to you now as a spokesperson for the youth. How did you live the period 2007, 2008, December, January? Where were you? What were you doing?
I was actually at home on Gong Road, and we were at a flat. It's a second-story flat, so I could see everything that was happening from Kibera. I saw 2,000 people walk down the road protesting, and the next minute they're being chased right back up the road
yes.
by police with tear gas and everything. So basically, I was stuck in the house for that whole period.
Yes.
So that's what I was doing. It was tragedy, and the whole world is looking at Kenya, seeing if history will repeat itself in this next election. So.
And are you one of these people who's highly optimistic or highly pessimistic?
I think I'm optimistic. I think it's going to be peaceful.
Right. So the expectations of the young When you talk to your friends, to your mates, are they buoyant? You have found a way to make a living. Is this true for the whole of your generation? Everybody's somewhere, everybody's comfortable. Is that what you feel? Because you've had a good education for one.
Yes.
And maybe others haven't.
That's true.
And so, any views on that topic?
Yeah, I guess there's some people there's actually very many people that are unemployed and have nothing to do. Again, because of
your own friends, not just
okay. Oh, from my friends. Okay, no, from my friends, most of them are in the same place that I am in.
Right.
They found something to do with themselves, found something with their talents, with their education. But most of my friends right now are in the school period, so they are transiting from high school to university or from university to working life. So most of them are in university. Studying.
Right, yeah, and are you, because everybody talks about this whole notion of future leaders, and so I should imagine that you will be in a leadership role, and yet the young are meant to be unhappy with the leadership that they have. What would you expect of the leadership that you want to have? I'm wondering. I'm just wondering whether young people think about these things, or whether being 22 is just live one day to another and everything will be fine. Or I mean, if you don't think about these things, that's also the right answer.
It's a problem. Yeah. I think back to voting and to what we want. People want a change, but the systems stay the same. So we might vote in people, but systems stay the same. So I think policies need to be changed. And then also, when we're voting, we need to look at the leaders' policies, and because most of the people follow what the media says. Like if the media says something about a certain politician, they're like, yes, that is his policy. But what we don't do is actually go and read up on what these leaders have done in their own constituencies. So I just want change in the country. I want it to be a less corrupt place. So let's see what happens in the future. But
okay, a less corrupt place. Yeah. I mean, are you saying that in your generation, in your own conduct, the word corruption doesn't exist? You yourself would never imagine engaging in a corrupt act?
I wouldn't myself personally.
Right.
But it does exist.
Right.
But we need leaders that we know are not corrupt. That's hard to find, but yes, it can be done.
But this accusation, I find it strange, because it's only the politicians who are being accused of corruption. I find that in our own social behavior towards each other.
That's true.
I mean, there are levels of corruption. There are people sort of cutting corners.
Okay.
So in your own life, do you find that there's a solution to that? It's all right saying we don't want corruption, but how do you go about changing? How do you go around about social attitudes?
I think it's about changing yourself, changing the people around you. Start with your friends and let it spread out.
Right.
Yeah. Simple things like taking bribes of a cop when you've done something wrong. Yes. Don't do it.
Yes.
Yeah, and talk to your friends about it, and then let it spread out.
Yeah, but the cop might put you in and charge you 100,000 bob with the new traffic rules. That's a great example.
That's I know, but now it's down to your ethics and your morals.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So there is a spiritual core to you.
Yes.
There is to your own, to Kato Change.
Yes.
Right. Time is of the essence, Kato. I want you to multitask, because I specifically asked you to come with a guitar.
You did.
So I'd like you to multitask, to chat to me, and to sort of tune the guitar at the same time.
Why not? Let's see if I can do this.
Right, go on. And I basically, because we had a little clip of you playing in, I think our viewers need another taste of the kind of music that you do. So play us out and explain what exactly that you're going to play.
Okay. This is actually a song I wrote when I was on tour on the road in States.
Exactly.
So I wanted to get something closer to my roots, because everyone out there was doing jazz or hip-hop or new soul. So I was like, I need something that's more African.
Right. So what did you come up with?
So it's called African Woman.
Right. Yeah. We're all listening.
Okay.
And by the way, since you're playing us out, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
you.